Hey everybody, I'm Amber.
And I'm Maddie.
And we're
Witches
Talking Tarot. And today we are talking about the Slavic folklore witch who was originally an elemental goddess who had control over the thunder and dark woods, time itself. Yes, Baba Yaga, the witch of the wood in the Slavic territories. I'm super excited for this episode. I'm so fucking excited for this episode.
So is she Polish?
She's
I had
all
read
Slavic areas.
Polish was
all
one that
the
really
Slavic
stuck.
areas.
Oh, really?
All Slavic areas have Baba Yaga lore.
Mm-hmm.
It's spelled differently from area to area, but all of the Slavic lands have Baba Yaga lore. All of them.
Really? That's
awesome.
Yep.
The Poles, the Russians, the Belarusians, the Georgians, the Siberians. So the chicken leg hut. Baba Yaga lives in a hut on chicken legs out in a clearing in the middle of the woods with a fence made of human bones and lights on the fence made of human skulls. And the hut spins around and around and around. And Maddie says she doesn't believe that the chicken leg hut is a thing, right?
Right,
and
I don't believe that.
I bring it up because Siberia. It's because of the Siberian Baba Yaga belief that the chicken leg hut got adopted into the Baba Yaga lore because they would keep their food in huts on stilts to keep it away from bears and things like that. So that's where the chicken leg lore comes from. That and so Baba Yaga is associated with death. Hence the fence of human bones and the skulls that light the way for her when she comes flying in and her mortar using her pestle to prod her on her
It's
way.
so funny because like I guess realistically speaking, it would just be barely moving a boat out of water at a time. But she's
flying in the air. And she uses a witch's broom to clear her path behind her so nobody can follow where she's gone.
Right, because it's so fucking cold out there, there's probably snow.
Right, yeah, there's absolutely snow.
I mean, before global warming, it was probably snow most of the time.
Well, and before Christianity, she was a goddess, but after Christianity, she was an evil witch. So, of course, the villagers would be chasing her everywhere she went. So she needed the broom to keep her safe from all the villagers at that point. Because she went from goddess to witch, as I'm sure we're so familiar with many other deities and strong women in folklore, as we've already talked, like the Banshee got demonized.
Oh, absolutely.
And, Hecate viewed as this dark thing. And Baba Yaga, she is viewed as this evil old witch in the woods, but she is... The folklore stories we'll go through will show you that she's not anything but. However, I think she's anything but just an evil witch in the woods. They say that she's got super skinny chicken legs, which could also be it could be super skinny chicken legs, but it also could be bone legs, skeleton legs.
Right.
Right. Which I did a live on my Facebook last night that Maddie joined in, and one of our followers on our Facebook pages had mentioned that it might be associated with starvation.
I could see that.
Yeah, and it made sense because if she's a lady who's accused of sorcery that's living out in the woods on the edge of civilization, hedge witch. Oh my God! Okay. Sorry, but that's where hedge witch comes from. It's the women that live in the hedge right beyond the civilization. But, I was, when she mentioned the whole starvation piece, I thought, well, that makes sense because old women that were forced out of society because they were thought of as, undesirable old witches.
Hags.
They
oh my God, I'm
often
kind of the same.
Left to their own devices, and they had to fend for themselves, and many probably did starve.
Speaking of hags, kind of the same, not really, but my nephew has started name calling but he got his names from Hocus Pocus. So, he got in trouble with my sister's boyfriend, and he was so mad. He was like, you hag! So funny. Oh my god, it was hilarious. That's it was just the most hateful thing he could think of, because I'm pretty sure in the beginning.
Well, they get, when they're called hag, they're like,
so he just
excuse the fuck out of me.
I guess he assumed everyone would be like,
right. Instead, did they giggle or?
A little bit, but Scarlett, my sister, was like, we should probably not laugh at that, because he's like kind of. He also
he's trying to be mean.
He also called him a moron, which he got from Danny. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like, it's really funny.
That's adorable. I guess it shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be, but I would die. But yeah, I would die if some kid was so mad at me, like red in the face. I'm thinking he's gonna say like the F word or the B word, but hag comes out. Speaking of hag, I don't know what's the original definition of hag, but like it's been used to be shitty to older women. You know?
Yeah,
what I mean?
like I don't know the original definition of hag. I do know that. Baba Yaga, the name Baba Yaga, some people say it means old crone or old hag. Mm-hmm. It comes from the original, like Baba is like grandmother or old woman, and Yaga is sorcerer or midwife or herbal woman, which, makes sense with the mortar and pestle, whether it's witchcraft and sorcery or mixing up herbs for medicine. It makes sense that Baba Yaga would always have her mortar and pestle handy.
I did see a thing on Facebook back when people were talking about Baba Yaga a lot, and there was like, you know what I'm gonna say?
No.
Oh, the sunflowers thing. So this lady told this person to put sunflowers in his pockets, because when he died, the sunflowers would bloom and something beautiful would come from his death, because he's such an ugly person.
Oh, damn.
And people were like, bro, I think that was Baba Yaga. I think you just got cursed. I think you got hexed.
I kind of like that. That's hilarious. I don't know of that. Like, when you say sunflowers and online, I immediately think of the meme where it's like, the two sunflowers that are growing towards each other, because sunflowers will grow towards each other, and one of them's like, sup bro, and the other one's like,
oh no,
son, or some
I think
like
sunflowers are the national flower for Ukraine, which is like, so like, is Baba Yaga in that area then? Ukraine, Russia?
She's
I don't know.
Slavic.
Is it? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Ukraine, Siberia, Russia,
Siberia, just
Georgia. Yeah,
cold.
So is Russia.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, Siberia is definitely colder, to my knowledge / understanding of the areas. Because, like, the Russian steppes are freaking cold as shit. And then there's the tundra. And then there's Siberia, which I think is where the tundra is. But I sucked at geography, y'all. So I'm pretty sure we mentioned that a lot in season 1 about the geography.
I'm sitting here like, remember
so
when
I know what I know, but I don't know everything.
Remember when that dumbass tried to invade Russia in the winter? Like, I mean,
Napoleon or the
other
Hitler.
one? Oh, I was talking about Napoleon. It doesn't work out very well, does it? Because it's so fucking cold.
But they're used to the cold.
Well, I bring it up because, like, when I think of Baba Yaga, I think of this old woman that's in the snow. But she's like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just stereotyping.
Well, and to a degree, yes, it is stereotyping her, because she's not only associated with winter.
Yes.
Like, she is associated with, like, disease and death, like a very old root for Baba Yaga could relate back to the Russian words for disease and something and rage, which I thought actually made a lot of sense. However, like, we don't know what Baba Yaga's original moniker was back before Christianity, back when everything was just oral lore, because
right, I had read that as well doing research for this episode, like
before the writing. See, Slavic people are one of 3 peoples that follow a belief of speaking things into existence.
Mm-hmm.
So Russian people or Slavic people in general very much find other words for things. Like there are, I don't know, you can Google it, but there's like a ton of different phrases for bear in the Russian language.
Really?
But like only one word for bear, and they almost never say it because they believed if you said the word bear, it would bring a bear into your presence. And if you're in Russia, the bears are really fucking big and they're probably going to eat you and half your village, you know?
God, are
so
they
don't want
grizzlies?
bears. Huh?
Are they grizzlies?
I don't know that they have grizzlies. I know they have really large bears. I think polar bears exist in Siberia, but I am not 100%.
It would make sense that bears would live there because they're so... It's so cold. Not stereotyping again.
Not that I'm proud of this, but like the Slavs are the ones that did the dancing bear thing. Like they learned to control bears and make them dance in the circus and shit.
Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah, so totally. I mean, it's like just like elephants and all that other stuff. But like, so bears are big over there, but they don't talk about them. Like they call them honey eaters and they call them other things, other epithets for the word bear, because if they say bear, they might bring a bear into their presence and they don't want that. And so with somebody who was a feared deity who controlled the strong winds, who controlled the deep dark forest, they had other things to call her instead of her actual name. So it has been lost to history, like what Baba Yaga was back when she was an elemental goddess. Like we only have Baba Yaga, the name for the fairy tale witch.
Oh, I'm so curious.
Which, since she is a fairy tale witch, I put on my fairy tale Seraphim for you, YouTube.
Would you put her in the realm of fae or in the realm of deities?
Deities, 100%. Yeah, I wouldn't put her in fae at all. She's not a fairy. No, her mortar and pestle is iron.
Okay.
The thing she flies around in is iron. So, I mean, if she was fae, I don't think she could exist.
Fae doesn't necessarily mean fairies. It's just to me that realm.
No, she's definitely she was an elemental goddess that has been turned into a folklore witch to help, just like all other folklore and mythology. You know, it helps give people rules to live by, as we'll see when we go through the stories of Baba Yaga.
So is she a deity that you think that you or just people in general would feel comfortable working with, or is she like a deity that you couldn't see anybody really working with her now?
I could totally see people working with Baba Yaga. I could see me working with Baba Yaga from the standpoint of her being an elemental goddess, from the standpoint of her being a liminal goddess, working with, you know, the heavens and the earth and the underworld. She has control over day and time.
So would you make an altar for her? Powerful. You'd probably have like a martyr and pestle in there.
I have inadvertently begun collecting mortar and pestles. This is like my 5th or 6th one. I have like a ton of mortar and pestles. Baba Yaga, as we'll see and when we get into the stories, she's a character that the more you look into her, the more multifaceted she becomes. Like, just like we found with Hecate, just like we found with the Kaliak, which we'll be talking about in our next episode, or Kayich, however you say that word. Baba Yaga, she is an entity that holds many different energies. And if you are someone who is drawn to that energy, I would think that it's very appropriate to work with. But I would say Baba Yaga would not be for the lighthearted. Baba Yaga would not be for the faint of heart, as we'll see from the stories. Like, Baba Yaga is fair, but she's not your loving, kind, going to wipe away your tears and kiss your boo-boos goddess.
So would you compare her then, deity-wise, I would compare her less with Hecate and more with the Morrigan almost, in the intensity of her.
I don't know enough about the Morrigan to answer that question. What I would say is I wouldn't compare her to any deity that I'm aware of at this point. She kind of exists in a realm all her own. As you referred to her last night, the hard love old crone.
Right. The tough love old crone thing. But I've noticed a lot of crone goddesses have that kind of like tough love. You know what I mean? Like feel about them. I think hers is a little more intense. Probably, I would say because. I was gonna bring up the winter, but I feel like I keep bringing up snow.
That's Marsana. Who is the one that is connected with Hecate.
Right.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say she's probably hardened because it's fucking cold over there.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, but it is.
But seriously, you have to work your fucking ass off when it's not cold to get food, to be alive.
Survive when it is cold. Yeah.
So I can see how that would harden someone. Because Russian and Slavic women have this stereotype of being like hardened and like.
Yeah, that's why the clothes are so big and baggy.
Yes,
you can move in this shit.
I saw a meme of this Russian woman and she's just carrying a lug on her shoulder by herself.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
See that. I've seen them like split wood. Have you ever split wood? That shit's hard. You need upper body strength to work an axe.
Oh yeah. I've done that.
We
had wood heat for a very long time.
I can't split a big log. I can do a little log, but a big log?
Little log.
Yeah.
We had wood heat for a very long time, and my fucking dad used to be like, I need your help cutting wood. And I'd be like, fuck you. And he'd be like, here, you want to try it? And I did. And I didn't split it. I just got it stuck in the wood. It's fucking hard. Yep. It is very hard.
Fucking hard. I found, like, once I'd get it stuck in the wood, then I just whacked the shit out of it until I basically broke it the rest of the way apart.
Well,
which is what an ADS is for, guys. ADZ.
Stacking wood is very hard on your hands, assuming you don't have gloves.
If you don't use gloves, yeah.
You know, which
I keep old shitty winter gloves just for firewood purposes.
Oh, absolutely. And like
always have, because my dad's big on fire.
You're getting muscly, you know what I mean? It's definitely hardening.
It is hard.
It is very hard. And I imagine your skin gets weathered in the cold winter, so that makes you look even more. So maybe she's not even pissed off, but everybody's just like, wow, she looks pissed. Resting bitch face.
Right? She's like, it's cold and I'm tired.
Right.
I am your grandmother. Respect my ass.
Right. Yeah. She's like, bitch, I just cut a fucking log in a dress. Okay.
Right?
You know what
in
I mean?
this dress.
Right. Yeah. Literally. Right.
This is what Russian peasant women wear. It's called a sarafan. It is a jumper type dress over a tunic shirt. And that's what the women wear. I have leggings on under it because it's cold as fuck today.
It is super cold.
Yeah. I don't think they wear leggings under it. They just be
warm
cold.
Or is it cold?
It'll get hot. It's okay. So the great thing about it is it keeps you insulated. So when I wear my golden poppy sarafan at PPD, which I've done before, like even when it got hot out and I was sweating, I wasn't hotter than anybody that was in a t-shirt and shorts because the air circulates just like
it's like dual purpose.
Like because you know in the desert they have those certain dress garments that they wear, like the men wear, because it keeps them cool. Like sarafan, same thing. Like the sarafan will keep you cool as well as keep you warm because I think the insulation, because like this is some thick fabric, y'all.
May I?
Yeah, go for it.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
is it comfortable? It doesn't.
Yeah, I don't dislike it. I love it.
Does it feel weird on your skin?
No, not at all.
It's not cotton.
I mean, no. I mean, it's like homespun.
I know, like
it's not. Yeah, like it's not as refined as necessarily the fabrics that we would wear here. This is straight from Russia. This is made by a Russian woman.
What is it? It's not hypoallergenic.
This was purchased in 2020, I feel the need to say, just under the circumstances. A while ago, y'all. When I bought my sarafans.
But they're cute as hell, too. You know what they remind me of? Midsummer.
Fuck yeah, that's why I love my golden poppy one. I wore it for, our Daj Boga episode, which we did at Midsummer. And that's why I wore it. Yeah, but I like this one because Lolly says I look like a Russian Raggedy Ann doll. So I was like, I call it my fairy tale sarafan. So I thought it was a great one to wear while we tell some Slavic fairy tales. and discuss Baba Yaga. And then, we're going to get you some casting in this one. But before we do the casting and the stories, I wanted to mention something that Maddie and I both you haven't heard yet. So if you know about Baba Yaga, maybe you're waiting to hear about the big long nose. We're not going to talk about it much because I personally do not picture her with a big long nose, let alone a metal
What
big
if
long
she was
nose.
an Ashkenazi Jew or something like that?
But I mean, she still wouldn't have a nose that hit the
No,
ceiling.
no, I'm so sorry. That is not what I meant.
Okay. I was
meant,
like, damn, Maddie.
What if she had?
I am Ashkenazi.
No, I know. Well, and that's Slavic, right? They moved.
They're like Ashkenazi is like the original line of Jewish whatever, and my mother's Slavic Jewish heritage is Ashkenazi. Okay. My father's is not.
So, like, my thought is, like, maybe she's, like, Russian or Slavic Jew, and people are really shitty.
Yeah, because they don't, yeah.
Like, and then, well, not just people being shitty, but back then, people like to dramatize and make...
Oh, yeah, no, I mean, that makes sense. Because, like, if you look at cartoons of Jewish people from back then...
Right, well, right.
And so I can see that, and now you turn it into metal.
Right. They didn't have TV back then, so they're like, and her nose was this fucking long.
Right, it was made out of metal.
Right.
Right, because, like, they say that she smells
What if she had a nose ring? And that's why they said that. Wise women do have...
I mean, they do have, because, like, it helps magnify, like, messages coming into your face from the energies.
Straight up.
Like, seriously.
That really makes me wonder if she had, like, a
what if she wore a thing? Like, because, like, have you ever seen, like, other, like, there's a lot of different kinds of headdresses you could wear. Oh, what if she had a headdress that came down over her face? And it was like, just like in Ancient Aliens, where they're like, oh, they were aliens, but they were misinterpreted as gods. Like, what if they're looking at her and she has this thing that she's created, and they're looking at it and they don't understand what it is. So, her nose is made out of metal.
Like the plague thing.
Like, exactly. Right. Yes. Maybe it's exactly like the plague thing. She's got herbs in there because she is an herbalist, y'all. Baba Yaga was a sorceress. She was an herbalist.
That makes so much sense. That makes so much. But my thought is just like, everybody was bored. There was no television, so they had to like dramatize and get attention or get entertainment from some way. And if that's talking mad shit on the old lady in the woods, I think they'd do it. They'd be like, she was
100%. I mean, they deified her. I'm sorry, they demonized her. Right. She was a deity, and she was deified, and then they demonized her and sent her out into the woods because she was associated with death, and death scares people.
What if it was just... I'm not saying I believe this because I don't, but what if Baba Yaga was just some random ass old lady that lived in the woods, and then everybody just kept telling stories about her, and then she eventually died, and then people were just like, no, she
is the OG hedge witch, y'all.
Definitely a hedge witch.
I am, like, I feel, I don't know if I think I told you last year that, like, as I got more and more of my mortar and pestles, I was more and more interested in Baba Yaga. And I really do feel like the mortar and pestles thing came to me for a reason. Mm-hmm. And, like, because I am a hedge witch, y'all. Like, Maddie's a kitchen witch. I'm a hedge witch. Baba Yaga's a fucking hedge witch, y'all.
Oh, absolutely. And I wonder if that's why I don't feel as much of a connection with her as you do. You know what I mean?
I mean, like, and there's all sorts of... Well, and it also
has to do with, like, you know...
Yeah, like, everybody has different things they're called to. I think for me it has to do with the, she's a Slavic character that I've known about my entire life. Right. So I've always, like, been intrigued by her and interested in her. But also, she is so... She's, like, really multifaceted. Like, any good hedge witch. Okay. Anyway, you know what? Damn, let's just get to the stories. I am so loving this lady. Sorry, I'm like,
no,
I could go on.
I know, I love it when our episodes get like this. I do. So I have to say, before we get on to the stories, she's also represented in a zillion things of pop culture.
Oh, yeah. Like, I believe she's got several movies.
Right. She's in season 2 of The Witcher. I saw a scary-ass video. I'm going to have to show you. Okay. Like, I have to. It's Baba Yaga. I don't believe it's fake, but anyway. So I was also going to mention the So-and-so's Moving Castle.
Howl's Moving Castle. So it's an anime movie that, like, if you're an anime person, you're like, why did you need to tell me that, Amber? Not everybody's an anime person. Like, I am not an anime person. But even I have seen Howl's Moving Castle. And apparently,
my husband
the house is... and Maddie's seen it as well, and you're not an anime person either?
I'm not a big fan of anime, no.
But we've both seen the movie, and Howl's Moving Castle is based off of Baba Yaga's Chicken Hut, which, I told you, it constantly is spinning, right, guys? There's magic words to make it stop so you can enter Baba Yaga's house, and it's little house, turn your back to the forest, and put your face to me. And the house has to stop spinning and let you access Baba Yaga, which I think is really funny. That
oh my God, Burning Man Festival 2018 had a House of Baba Yaga walkthrough.
Oh my fucking God, awesome. That's so cool. But like awesome. Baba Yaga, there is a 1970s movie about Baba Yaga. It's called Baba Yaga that I actually really want to watch. And there is a Russian movie from like last year, I think, called Baba Yaga Terror in the Night. Ooh. That I wanted to watch, but it's about her eating babies. Oh, and I do not truck with Baba Yaga ate babies. She didn't. She was demonized by the Christian church when they came over to the Slavic lands. Mm-hmm. And she was a great enemy for the Soviet Union much later after Christianity had taken over and then the Soviet Union came in behind. So Baba Yaga just was a great enemy of the state for a really long time. But before that, she was a blessed, feared deity. And I say feared because all deities that are associated with death are feared. All deities are feared to one degree or another. But the more association with death there is, the more people are iffy about you.
Okay, so do you think that this is Baba Yaga? I don't see how this is a prank. This is scary. Okay. Sorry, guys. I have to show Amber this shit. So they're, like, driving and, like, they see this thing right there.
The light?
That's that? Yeah. I'm sorry, I should have gotten a little... See how it's like walking?
Okay, that's fucking weird.
It's definitely an old lady.
Like, I don't see that as a Baba Yaga, but it does make me think of Japanese horror movies that I won't watch.
You think so?
Yeah, like that looks like... That looks like a Rusalka. That makes me think of like a Rusalka.
See, it's like walking with a cane towards them, like...
That's creepy. That makes me think of definitely some demons from Russian folklore. But,
right, definitely like...
but again, like, honestly, like, my first thought was, like, the Japanese horror movies that I don't watch. Because, like, I've seen The Ring. It was horrible.
It looks like
I've never seen The Grudge. Because I've seen The Ring. I can't.
I haven't seen The Grudge. I think it looks stupid, if I'm being honest.
Look, I just can't stand the way their bodies move. And that's how that thing's moving.
Right?
I don't like the unnatural movement where they're like, hoo. Sorry, YouTube.
It's like
I shouldn't have done
wiggling or whatever, or it's like, it's creepy, so you don't think that's Baba Yaga.
That is not...
Oh shit, it's like... Sorry, it took after it. I would probably scream too, though,
well,
to me.
Yeah,
I'd be like, oh my
me.
God. So, I feel like that's how a lot of people see Baba Yaga. Sorry, YouTube, you can't see it. Maybe I'll find the video or the link to the video and I'll send it to Amber and maybe it'll be in the description. I don't know. But anyway, for me, like, that's how I see Baba Yaga. I don't mean like that in a shitty way. I don't see it with black hair. I see it with white hair, and I think that's how a lot of people see her. But I think that's because of the... Well, I think that's because of the stories that are told about her that are, like, really shitty, and that's why people see her like that.
I just mean, like, I don't know, like, again, just the unnatural movement. It doesn't look like anything that's even remotely, like, human alive, so I don't see a connection. Again, it makes me think of the demons out of Japanese movies that, like, they
do
go
all weird
backwards
twisty
and
shit.
Yeah.
Oh my
well, because the way it was moving, it was
like waddling.
It was more than just waddling, though. It was like moving in like these unnatural,
it was almost
inhuman
like
ways.
Skeksis from the Dark Crystal.
Yeah, I still haven't seen that.
But anyway, yeah, I think a lot of people associate Baba Yaga with like an old woman who's like.
Oh yeah, well, and the like 90% of the stories, Baba Yaga is an old woman. There are some stories where she's three sisters. Sometimes she's younger, but sometimes she's three sisters, and they're each a different age.
So would you call that a triple goddess, or not?
Yes-ish, because it's like to a degree, I do think of it as a triple goddess, but there are many fewer stories of her in that aspect. But I had kind of forgotten about that until we were talking about it. So, like, there is that triple goddess aspect to her, but I don't think of her as a triple goddess. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
But it's been mentioned as like very much in the same way that Brigid and the Morrigan have that triple goddess aspect, not the same way that Hecate has the triple goddess aspect.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Now, granted, because it's done in like this really old lady, middle-aged lady, and young lady, it does feel more in line with the way that Hecate is a triple goddess versus Brigid, who is a triple goddess from not an age standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like not the mother maiden crone thing. But, you know, so disclaimer, none of the stories we're telling today include the triple form of the goddess, Baba Yaga. I think we're all talking old lady. Right.
Yeah. Do you mind if
She's
I start?
Predominantly old lady. Well, I was thinking like because I had two.
Oh,
we're gonna. So I was gonna like do one and then one.
Oh, if you want to start, feel free.
Yeah. So the first story. So this is like a blending of our myth episodes, much like Hecate was, where we don't do a ton of casting, but there's still some casting gonna happen. So. In the first story about Baba Yaga that I wanted to tell, because it's not the most famous one. And you guys will probably recognize the premise from Norse or Germanic folklore. But I really like it because I think it very much demonstrates Baba Yaga's duality. So there's a man who has a daughter who marries a woman who has a daughter. So when the man's daughter is about to be married, so I don't really feel like the man and his wife probably should be cast. So there's the two girls and the parents, and then there's the Baba Yaga of this. And like the dad, he's a super cool guy. And the mom is the typical evil stepmother. Can you think of anybody who would be a good typical evil stepmother?
That bitch from Ever After. She's also Morticia Adams.
Oh, Angelica Houston?
She's the evil stepmother from fucking Ever After. She's like, don't leave me. Man, she's a bitch in that movie.
Okay, I like this. Morticia Adams. So her really nice guy counterpart is not Gomez Adams. Because that doesn't work for the dad. Because Gomez is more obsessed
I'm going to be real.
Morticia.
I'm like thinking Sean Bean from
Game of Thrones. I love that.
Yes, like Ned Stark.
That. Hell yeah, I love that.
Well, because I'm imagining in my head that's kind of the era that we're in right now. I don't know. I'm sure I'm wrong, but like Ever After is also Renaissance-y, so.
Oh, okay. I was like,
have you seen her in Ever After?
It's been a very long time since I've seen Ever After. I have seen that movie. But Angelica Houston is definitely... Oh! Ever After with
Drew Barrymore.
Drew Barrymore, the Cinderella story. Ever After. Yes. I'm sorry. I was picturing the Amy Adams movie where...
Oh, Enchanted.
Yes. I was like, I don't remember her in that. But okay. Angelica Houston is the mean mom. She's great at this.
She is so great.
Her for Vasilisa, but that's okay. I like this. Okay, so Sean Bean and Angelica Houston. Oh yeah, I've seen that movie. So like, I literally, you said Ever After, but I just pictured it.
It's okay. They're all so similar. They really are. Yeah. But she played a kick-ass evil stepmother. No lie, she was a fucking bitch.
Yeah, she was. So if we're going Renaissance-y movies,
but we are good for Sean Bean.
Yeah, okay. I love Sean Bean no matter what he's in.
I love it too.
Except, you know what? Don't say a word? No. I don't know. Whatever one where he's the bad guy against Brittany Murphy, I don't like him in that movie.
Oh, he was a bad guy in Treasure Island. Or, I'm sorry, National Treasure 2.
I'm not a National Treasures person. I didn't even watch those movies. Corey loves them. I don't.
I love them. I can't lie. I do.
Yeah, because they're Nick Cage. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe that's why I love them.
I was like, damn, that face. I get it now. They're Nick Cage movies. I'm not a National Treasure fan.
Okay, so who's the other
daughters? We've got the two daughters. We've got the daughter and the stepdaughter. So Angelica Houston's daughter and Sean Bean's daughter. So I guess Arya Stark is a good fill-in. I don't know the actress's name.
Macy Williams.
But I think she would be good as Sean Bean's daughter. And I'm going to have to go and say we're just going to pluck Christina Ricci out of the 90s to be Morticia's
Oh my God,
daughter.
I love that. Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Okay. So Sean Bean, he takes Macy and he drops her off with Baba Yaga, who we haven't cast. So we have to cast a Baba Yaga for
She's like, I don't want to be a lady, Dad. That was a Game of Thrones.
I know, but I'm like, the Baba Yaga for this one has to be like the perfect Baba
Oh my Yaga. God, I have no idea. If you guys saw me staring off into space, I was literally thinking, who the fuck am I gonna even offer to cast for Baba Yaga? Because I have no idea. Not a fucking clue. She's so... we could do funny with it and do Betty White.
No. B. Arthur though is great. So B. Arthur is a perfect Baba Yaga.
B. Arthur,
she's Dorothy. From Golden Girls.
Oh,
the Betty White song. Yeah, she is Dorothy from the Golden Girls. So she and the nose, and she's tall and skinny. She's actually really perfect. I like B. Arthur for this for many fucking reasons. Because she's going to bring the personality that I want. And this is why I wanted to cast the Baba Yaga stories that we do. Because, like, Baba Yaga is so different story to story. So I thought it would be fun to cast each of the stories. So for the two sisters, Sean Bean, his daughter Macy, whether she wants to be a lady or not, she is a Slavic girl in the cold part of the world, and he wants to make sure that she's taken care of, you know. So he's gonna have her get married, whether she likes it or not. And first he takes her to Baba Yaga, so our lovely B. Arthur, and he offers her as a servant to Baba Yaga, and Baba Yaga accepts her as the servant, and she's a wonderful servant to Baba Yaga. So she does everything that Baba Yaga asks her to do as a servant. She does all of the chores and she does them impeccably. And she's such a lovely little soul that she gets the aid of the mice that live on Baba Yaga's property to help her with her chores, which is why she does such a wonderful job. And Sean Bean comes back and he's like, what's up, Baba Yaga? I was just checking in on my little Macy Gray here. Because I don't remember what Macy's last name is, but Macy Gray. That works for me. So she takes him to see his daughter, who she has rewarded for all of her fine work by giving her riches upon riches. And she is, she's going to be set for life. And Sean Bean's like, fuck yeah, thanks, Baba Yaga. Takes his rich little girl home to go get married to the man of whoever she chooses. Because now she's got like a hell of a dowry, right? Because she worked her little ass off and did a great fucking job of being a perfect little Slavic girl. And so the stepmother, Angelica Houston, she's all like, I'm sorry, your daughter's well off? my daughter needs to be well off. So she takes little Wednesday Addams and she marches her to Baba Yaga's hut. And B. Arthur's like, what's up? And Morticia's like, yeah, here's my daughter. She's your servant. Take care of her. And so Baba Yaga's like, okay, and gives Wednesday Addams all of the same chores that she gave little Macy Gray. And Wednesday is a perfect Wednesday about it. She is impetulant and she is abusive to the mice. She hits them away with the broom and she won't do the chores and she's just a rude little wench.
Can we blame her on the mice thing though? I think a normal person would be like, okay, get the fuck away from me.
Well, if they weren't in a fairy tale, sure. But since they're in a fairy tale, everybody in 90% of the stories of the Baba Yaga tales that I read, you're good to the little creatures and they help you in the end so that you can escape with your life or so you can be successful in the outcome of this. So the whole thing with the mice is more so that she's a nice, kind individual, whereas the other sister is not a nice, kind individual. She's not nice to the animals that are around. And Baba Yaga is in control of animals. So, it's a really bad idea to be mean to the animals in Baba Yaga's place. But even so, in a lot of the other stories, the animals that had nothing to do with Baba Yaga would help, Ivan that's looking for his wife Vasilisa the Wise, whose father has turned her into a frog. Every animal that he comes across that he doesn't eat later helps him when he's trying to be Baba Yaga's horse herder so that he can earn a fast horse to catch the sorcerer that has his wife. It's a really long ass story. That's why I didn't want to do that one. But there's all these little animals that every step of the way he's cool to, so they help him in the end. And that's a huge thing in all of the Russian fairy tales that I've read is being nice to the animals and then they fucking help you later, which I think is just a fairy tale trope everywhere. But in 90% of the stories with Baba Yaga, it happens. And I think that's a huge piece of this story is that the one girl got all her chores done because she was nice to the mice and the mice helped her. Baba Yaga gives them a lot of shit to get done because in any household, especially a Slavic household, you're going to have a lot of work. You're going to have wood cutting to be done. You've got floors to wash. You've got food to make. You've got to make sure that this is done. You've got to have clean laundry because you don't want pestilence in the house. You've got to have clean wash water. You've got to have clean drinking water. You've got to have all this stuff, and that takes a lot of work. And so by Macy Gray being super sweet to the mice, she gets super cool outcome. Wednesday doesn't want to do the chores. She's not cool to the mice, so they don't help her, so they don't do the chores for her. And Baba Yaga breaks her into little pieces and sticks her in a box. And then Angelica Houston can be all oh no. Or at the end of Witches where she turns into the rat thing. I love that movie. But B. Arthur is a great example of Baba Yaga for this first story because she was incredibly fair. She rewarded the good child. And she punished the bad child.
B. Arthur reminds me of Ursula. I think it's the voice. I thought she voiced Ursula for
the Sea Witch?
Yes, yes.
I can see that.
Yeah, but I guess that's
who the fuck does voice Ursula?
Isn't it that other? No, it's not. She does Mrs. Potts. Because my second choice...
Angela Lansbury.
Yeah, Angela Lansbury honestly was my second choice for Baba Yaga, if I'm being honest with you. Have you seen her old?
It has nothing to do with looks, though. It has to do with countenance. B. Arthur's a perfect Baba Yaga because of how she acts as Dorothy. Her as Dorothy's perfect because, she's a very hard creature. But Angela Lansbury's, she's a sweetie, which is why they, I
am so sorry. I did not mean to...
I just, wasn't thinking of... I don't see Angela Lansbury as Baba Yaga because she's so nice. That's why when I was pitching her as the chick for Hocus Pocus, I thought that was one of your problems is she was this sweet old lady versus being somebody with iron teeth.
I wasn't thinking of characteristics. I was just thinking of looks.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I wouldn't I wouldn't picture Angela Lansbury as Baba Yaga, but yeah. I mean, I would almost picture Carol Kane as the grandmother from Addams Family for Baba Yaga. That would be a good one. Oh yeah. But that would be more of her fun-loving side, where she's like more nice. What is the story of the two kids that you have?
Okay, so this is a different type of story with Baba Yaga. Basically, there is a myth that Baba Yaga uses geese to fly overhead in the sky to find children to get and eat. So basically, this mom was like, hey, don't go outside while I'm not here and there's geese flying overhead, or Baba Yaga's gonna get your ass. And these kids, Olga and Sergey, that's so funny.
So who do you think would be good for the mom of Olga and Sergey?
I don't know. I don't think she needs casts.
Okay.
She's not really much into it, but Olga and Sergey, I'm over here like, who's two shitty kids? Like, I'm trying to think.
So they're shitty kids?
Oh, yeah. They didn't listen to their kids? Fucking parents. Yeah, they're shitty.
I wish I knew the Little Rascals better.
I'm thinking like Hansel and Gretel type kids, if I'm being honest.
Well, and that's where I was like, the Little Rascals, I don't know them well enough.
Well, and I think there's Olga and Sergey are supposed to be shitty kids that don't listen to their mom, because that's the point of the story.
Right.
Listen to your parents.
So
I guess I would say,
what about Michelle from Full House? She's always
my god, yeah.
And then that little boy that's like always fighting with her.
Yes.
You know who I'm talking about?
I know exactly, because he's the same kid. I don't know his
name. He's the same kid as Gage in Pet Sematary.
Oh, I was gonna say he's the kid that says boys have penises.
Yes, girls have vaginas.
Yes.
Kindergarten Cop?
Yes. So I'm down for those two.
Okay.
Definitely Michelle. She's a little bitch. She's probably
what kind of Baba Yaga is in this story? Is she vengeful?
Oh my god, she's just evil. I wouldn't even call
evil.
I wouldn't call her vengeful at all. There's no like
she's straight evil
to be made. She just wants to eat children.
She's just evil.
Right. Like I mean maybe I would just call her evil. I mean, what vengeance does she need to have? Like, you didn't listen to your parents, so I'm gonna eat you? She's literally sending like geese to collect children specifically to eat, because she just eats children because she's a monster.
So like, who on like Bridgerton is just awful and like an old lady that would do anything to punish everybody else around her? I feel like Bridgerton is a good show for that, but I don't watch that. I'm also like, I'm thinking all these British shows like Downton Abbey probably has a character.
Oh my god, it's got to be the bitch from Harry Potter.
Oh my god, the pink lady?
No! Well, yeah, but I was thinking of McGonagall, if I'm being honest with you.
Professor McGonagall?
She got that look. She looks like you look at her wrong and she's gonna be mean. She looks like she'd be I can see her eating children, actually. Like, she just looks like her. Like the old grandma that would just be so mean. Like, hey, grandma, I love you.
Whack!
Yes! Like
my grandma, guys. That was my grandma.
She looks like she'd be mean. I don't know her name. It's very, very, like, well-known.
You guys know who Professor McGonagall is.
Right. So that's who I see in my head.
Yeah. When we get to the Harry Potter episode, I'm sure we'll have written down the actress's name. It's fine.
So anyway, the mom is like, hey, there's geese flying out outside. I gotta run to the store. You can't go outside, because if you do, Baba Yaga will want to try and eat you. And then this bitch, Sergey... He's like,
I'm just picturing the store as a hut like 5 miles away.
Right.
And she has to get eggs.
Well, Sergey's like, I'm going to go outside. And Olga's like, you better not. Mom said not to. You could get eaten.
Oh my god, that's so Michelle.
I know. Sergey's like, I'm going to do it. And she's like,
so that kid.
No, really, like, seriously, don't do it. Don't, like, do it. And he's like, fuck it. And then he does. And like, guess what? The geese scoop his ass up, and Olga's still inside, and she's watching her brother get scooped up and taken away, and she's like, oh my god, Sergey! Oh my god!
Posthumously, we are casting the geese as the birds from Alfred Hitchcock's The Bird.
Right.
they're just like
they're
taking them
actually
apart
the random
in the air.
seagulls, and they're like mine.
mine.
And
like Sergey's just losing chunks of hair.
So they take him off, and
looks like Josh Hartnett from that Halloween H2O movie. I made you look that hair.
That shit's so bad. So basically, Olga ends up leaving the house, and somehow she tricks. I don't remember exactly. From what I read, it didn't go into detail as to how Olga got Sergey back, but she was able to do so, I'm pretty sure, with like a fake child, maybe? I don't, like, honestly, I read 3 different articles that just said, like, Olga got Sergey back.
You know
by
what?
tricking Baba Yaga, but there was no specific details.
Based on all the Russian tales that I read for this, we're just going to fill in the blank of Olga came across a butterfly that gave her a ribbon to tie around Baba Yaga's birch tree so that they could escape.
Is that what happened?
That really happens in a different story.
Oh, okay.
Really
I was like, wait, is that what
story.
happened?
We're filling it in because that really happens and it's so unbelievable.
And then they get home and they tell their mom, and this bitch don't even care. She's like, you shouldn't have gone outside when I told you not to. That's what I said would happen. By the way, we're having eggs for dinner. Like, this bitch don't even give a shit.
Well, and are you guys starting to figure out the role of Baba Yaga yet? We're going to fill you in after the last story, but she's a very powerful, pivotal role in fairy tales for the standpoint of if you're a bad little kid, your mom doesn't care if Baba Yaga eats you.
Yeah.
It's just like that one meme. Remember a couple years ago, I'm going to have to find this meme and start sharing it on Amber's Color again. But remember that one meme where it's like, it's a picture out of like a Finnish or Swedish, like, scary Christmas thing, and it's like a demon lady eating a baby, and the mom's in the background like, oh shit, and it's like, you should have fucking eaten your whatever, and it's like, that's how I picture parents in these Baba Yaga stories, like, man, she is just eating the fuck out of you. You should have listened.
You should have fucking listened. Exactly.
Disclaimer, Baba Yaga never eats anybody in any of the actual old folktales.
No, I read that they were newer ones. Like, I read that it was like 1770s and up.
Yeah.
That they were kind of like came around.
Yeah, so they made her a cannibal. She was not a cannibal. Just the fear of death, you know what I mean? So, the last story that we're going to cast for Baba Yaga is Vasilisa the Beautiful.
I love that name.
I know, I do too. It's so pretty. I love it almost as much as I love the name Nadezhda. But I like saying Nadezhda, and it has a Z in it. I love all names that have Z's in them. Can't explain why. It's just not common to have a Z in your name, you know? And I like it. I like the Z. But, so Vasilisa the Beautiful is one of the most common folk tales with Baba Yaga in it. And from the standpoint of timing, I think it's the first one that was written down.
Really?
Yes.
Really? See, Baba Yaga, it just sounds so impersonal. I want to know her name. I feel like it's like Doctor Who. You don't know. She's just Baba Yaga. He's just the doctor. You know what I mean? What's her name?
I feel that. I wish I knew who she used to be before she was changed into what she became. Right. Still never going to believe the children eating stories, although in a lot of the stories she does threaten to eat people. So in Vasilisa the Beautiful, I'm just going to have to... Well, no, we don't recycle people. Damn. So Vasilisa the Beautiful, I am going to go Mila Jovovich.
She's beautiful.
She is, but I was going to do her from Marsana.
Well, Russia, the Slavic area is so fucking small. We may have to recycle people.
You know what? I'm like totally okay with trying Mira Sorvino once we get to Marsana. But Mila Jovovich. I don't want to waste Mila Jovovich on Vasilisa. So, Mira Sorvino, Paul Sorvino's daughter, Romy and Michelle. We go with Mira Sorvino for Vasilisa the Beautiful.
Oh, okay. Which one's that one? She's
the one that wasn't in Friends.
I
don't know
love
which
her
one's
fucking
Romy, and I
voice.
don't know which one's
She's
Michelle.
Romy, and I love her fucking voice. She talks like this. Like, she's got, like, this...
Fucking love
She's
her.
got, like, this sexy, deep voice. You know what I mean?
Yes. I love her. Which is why I'm like, I could take her for Vasilisa the Beautiful.
Right.
Because she's so beautiful, and she does have that
Hold
voice.
on, Michelle. Like, yeah, like, she does have this, like...
I'm gonna have to watch that. Oh my gosh. Oh, I love that movie. So, Vasilisa the Beautiful, she has a father who's pretty much absent, but we're not going to bother casting him. She has an evil stepmother, very much like Angelica Houston, but not Angelica Houston, because we just used Angelica Houston. Evil stepmother. Now all I can picture is fucking McGonagall. Get out of my head, McGonagall.
I'm trying to think who would be like a seriously... Oh, you know that bitch from fucking Grey's Anatomy? She's blonde.
The main character? I don't watch.
I'll show you. She's also in Knocked Up. She just looks like a bitch.
I think I'm gonna like her for one of the stepsisters, perhaps.
Probably. Because she's a little younger. Katherine Heigl.
Oh, fuck yeah! Stepsister. I hate
She
her, but
looks
she's
like
pretty.
such a bitch. She look like, if I met her, she'd be like, why are you looking at me? Like, she just looks like one of those that would just, like, fucking be so
you know what? I'm down. Even with her being pretty, we'll pretend she's ugly for the sake
I think
of
her
this.
insides are ugly.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I hate to say that, but she literally won an Emmy, and then she goes up and goes, I don't deserve this Emmy.
You know what? Since she came from Grey's Anatomy, it plugged in my head. What about look up Dr. Susan Ross from ER's sister? I don't remember the sister's name. The baby's name was Chloe. What the fuck was this? No, was the sister's name Chloe? But her. I want her as Katherine Heigl's awful other sister.
That's ER?
Yeah, ER, Dr. Susan. She was Dr. Susan on ER, and then her sister is, I think maybe Chloe? I think her sister. Yeah, because Chloe names the baby after Dr. Susan. So Chloe is her sister's name. And she is always such a piece of shit in everything she's in. Like, she's just typecast as a piece of shit. So I'm typecasting her for this as a piece of shit.
What the fuck?
Yes, that's her.
Which
that's
one?
Her.
Which one?
This one? I mean, for one, at least the two were the same person. But yes, her. Those are both the same person.
What else is she in?
I don't fucking know. She's in a lot of things where she's a piece of shit. But I mostly remember her as Chloe from ER, who was going to sell her baby, but instead let Dr. Susan raise her.
Wait. Oh,
yeah.
Dude, there was the one episode, I don't think this is the same episode, where, like, a junkie got pregnant. She's like, I got clean, I want my baby, and then the doctor offered her $500, and she's like, okay, here.
Yeah, that was a different one. That was Dr. I don't remember what George Clooney's name was, but that was him that offered her the money for the baby because he knew that she
would probably sell it anyway. Damn.
Mm-hmm.
ER.
But okay, so
ER.
I like Katherine Heigl and Chloe, the shitty sister of Dr. Ross. Those are great stepsisters. So we need a much older... Oh my God. So we're on ER. We need an evil stepmother, and she's fucking... Oh no, she's hateful. Maybe she should be Baba Yaga. ER... Do you watch ER?
No.
That much?
Okay. I used to.
Remember the short redheaded lady that walked with the braces and everybody hated her? Karen somebody or something. Everybody fucking hated her. She was such a bitch.
I'm not sure. It's been so long. I used to watch it at the same time I watched Days of Our Lives.
Will you see what her name is? Because, like, I think she would be great for Baba Yaga in this story.
Who is it?
ER Karen somebody.
Karen Hines?
That's probably an actress's name. Karen was definitely the character's name. I wonder if she's in that picture. I think she is in that picture. Is she? Yeah, she's that lady right
in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could.
She's so hateful. Yeah,
Is Baba Yaga younger in this one?
It doesn't matter because we can throw some age on her just like we aged down Mira Sorvino, you know what I mean? Plus, that lady would be much older right now because that was like 30 years ago. But I'm just going with, again, the characteristic of Baba Yaga in this one. She's very hateful from the standpoint of that lady who always wants everybody else to fail. A stepmother. Who would be a good wicked stepmother for Katherine Heigl and Chloe? Because I don't know that actress's name at all, and I don't know if you paid attention when you looked it up. But
what about oh, I love her. Not many people love her. I do. 60s. She did something with the Vietnam vets. I love her. She's Grace and Frankie.
Oh, well, she is a goddess in the Tuatha De Danann.
Is she? Oh, I can't remember. What's her name? God, I love her so much. How do I not remember this?
I was like literally looking at her face earlier today.
The cast of 9 to 5 as the goddesses. I think so.
2 out of 3 of them.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah. But her as an evil stepmother, I could see her as an evil stepmother 100%. Why can't I remember her name? Stan Smith hates her in that one episode.
I know, but I do like her.
I was literally looking
I'm trying
at her
not
face.
to Google it, if I'm being honest with you, because I'm like, don't upset. Like, am I gonna have to Google it? Jane Fonda.
Yes, thank you. Jesus Christ, I was like, it's in my notebook from when we cast her before.
She played in Monster-in-Law, so I've seen her like.
Got you. I mean, she took a trip to the Slavic lands just for the sake of time, guys. So,
right.
So Jane Fonda and Chloe and Katherine Heigl are super bitches to Vasilisa, our Mira Sorvino, because Mira Sorvino's mother, so Vasilisa's mother is dying when Vasilisa is a little girl. And when she's dying, she says, I want to see my daughter. And she says to Vasilisa, I'm dying, but here is this little wooden doll that will take care of you for the rest of your life. You just need to keep it with you and keep it hidden. And anytime you need the doll's aid, you just need to feed her and give her something to drink and tell her what your problems are, and she'll take care of you. So when, after she gives her the doll, Vasilisa's mother passes away. So Vasilisa, she's very sad the first night that her mommy dies, and she feeds the little doll, and she gives it some kvass. And
does she really give it kvass, or is that just what, like, a Russian
she gives
thing?
it, like, that's a, what?
I mean, does she really give it that specific thing, or did you just pull that out like borscht? Like, just a random...
Oh, no, in the story it mentions kvass being
does.
offered multiple times. Yes. But I assume because it's a Russian thing.
Right.
So I was like, no, I didn't just throw in kvass. It was in the story.
I know, I was
That's
like...
where I came with it from. Was because sometimes she gives it honey.
Cave.
But, but so, like, the little doll's eyes light up, and it comes to life, and it says, tell me what your problems are. And so Vasilisa says, I'm very sad. My mother's just died. And the doll tells her, it's okay to be sad. Your mom's died. Everything is harder at night. The morning light will bring new eyes to the situation. Just go to sleep. So she does. And, every time she's sad about her mom, she pulls the doll back out and feeds her and, goes through that. And after a short while, the ache starts to go away. Well, in that same time that the ache is going away from her losing her mother, the ache is going somewhere else for her father as he looks for Jane Fonda. And he thinks that Jane Fonda will be a good bride for him because she has 2 daughters, roughly the same age as his daughter. And he thinks that she'll be a good, stepmother to his daughter. So he marries Jane Fonda, and they all become one happy family, except they're not, because Vasilisa is beautiful, and Jane's daughters are not. And Jane is not either, because she's so ugly on the inside from being so envious of her stepdaughter. And because she is so envious of her stepdaughter, she and her daughters, they do nothing, and they make Vasilisa do all of the work. They make Vasilisa take care of the entire household all by herself.
Like
with
Cinderella.
no help from anyone else. Yes. And the idea is to make her less beautiful, to weather her skin down, harden her. Mm-hmm. Exactly. But instead, Vasilisa grows more healthy every day. She's beautiful. She's radiant. She's well rested. And all of the chores are done. So stepmommy has nothing to be upset about. So this goes on for quite some time. And little do stepmommy and stepsisters know, but the little doll is what is helping Vasilisa all along. The little doll does Vasilisa's chores for her while she's asleep. The little doll tells Vasilisa where she can hang out and be cool in the breeze and protected from the sun. And she teaches her how to make a special ointment, i.e. suntan lotion, which I find crazy that this was in a fucking folktale from the 1700s, that the doll told her how to make an ointment and what herbs to put on it to protect her skin from the sun so she wouldn't become weathered and old looking outside. Yeah. Like, fucking cool story. It is a cool story.
I'm sure they have some things like that. That's crazy.
I just never thought of them having figured that out at that point in history. But the little doll tells her how to do it. And the whole time she's making Vasilisa's life better, because every night Vasilisa's going to the doll and saying, I can't do it. It's too much. It's too much. And so the doll says, don't worry. Go to sleep. Everything looks better in the morning. And while Vasilisa's asleep, the doll does all her chores. So there comes a time where the father has to go away for a long period of time. And so the stepmother's like, fucking good. You go. And she up and moves the entire family over to the edge of the deep woods. Have you guys figured out maybe why? Because stepmommy knows what lives in the deep woods. So every day, Vasilisa's chores take her deeper and deeper into those deep woods, because stepmommy is hoping that Vasilisa will stumble across Baba Yaga in the woods and become her supper, and then stepmommy doesn't have to deal with Vasilisa the Beautiful anymore. Except Vasilisa's doll keeps her safe. Vasilisa's doll tells her where she can go in the woods that avoids Baba Yaga's hut but finds the mushrooms or herbs or whatever else that her stepmother wants from her. So now her stepmother is like fucking pissed off, because she's like, this kid won't fucking die. So she's like, okay, I'm going to set up a plan, right? It can't be on me, right? I can't kill a kid. So she sets up this thing where Vasilisa and her two stepsisters, Catherine Heigl and Chloe, they are given chores to do at one night. And stepmom's like, I'm putting out all the lights in the house except this one candle. You guys need to get your chores done by this one candle. I'm going upstairs for the night. Bye. And so in the midst of while they're doing their chores, one of the stepsisters accidentally extinguishes the candle. So now they have no light. And the one stepsister's like, well, I can still do my chore with no light, because I'm using these knitting needles and the silver, I can see it in this low light. And the other sister's like, yeah, I'm using needles, like sewing needles. I can see them in this low light. You're spinning flax, Vasilisa. You can't see shit. You're going to have to be the one that goes to get light, because you're the one that can't do your chore. And obviously this was all a plan from the stepmother. She instructed the daughters to put the light out, because the only hut anywhere nearby that had a flame, Baba Yaga's. So Vasilisa's terrified. She goes out, she feeds her doll, she talks to her doll, she tells her doll her troubles, and her doll's like, bitch, I got you. I've gotten you this far. I got you some more. So the doll's eyes light up so that Vasilisa can see her way through the dark wood. And she walks for what seems like forever. And soon she comes upon... it was fine. We don't have to... Anyway, I meant to cast these guys, and I forgot about them until it came time for them to show up in the story. But whatever. So she comes upon a white rider on a white horse. And as she comes upon the white rider with the white horse, daybreak hits, and now the sky is not completely dark. She's going, and now up behind her comes galloping a red-clad rider on a red horse, and he is bringing the sun with him. And so now the day is in full blast. And Vasilisa keeps walking and keeps walking and keeps walking. And she finally gets to a black rider on a black horse. And as he rides away from her, she is at the hut on chicken legs in the clearing behind the bone fence with the gate that's made from a human jaw. And she's terrified because now that night has run away, or run off, or become the thing, whatever. Now that nightfall's happened, all of the skulls that are on this fence, they light up with flames coming out of their eyes. And behind her, she hears quite a ruckus. And there's a flying mortar with Baba Yaga steering herself with the pestle. And Vasilisa is standing there, and Baba Yaga's basically like, what do you want? Because she's got her... Anyway, if you've seen ER, you know what the lady's like. You know how awful she is. So she's like, what do you want, little girl? And Vasilisa's like, I need some flame for my house. We don't have any fire. And she's like, okay, I'll give you some flame, but you're going to have to work for it. And she gives Vasilisa a crap ton of tasks to take care of the next day while she's gone. And she gets back, and like, Vasilisa's gotten it all done because of her little doll, right? The little doll did all of her chores, and all Vasilisa had to do was prepare an entire meal for Baba Yaga. So Baba Yaga's like, can't find anything wrong with this work, kind of irritated about it. Now tomorrow you're gonna have to do like all this shit and more. So like one of the chore on day 1 is picking all of the wild peas and something else out of her wheat so that she can use her mortar and pestle to grind up the wheat. Women's work. The second night, she's got all these chores, and on top of it, she's got to pick out all the other seeds that aren't poppy seeds from Baba Yaga's poppy seeds. And she does all that work, and, you know, the second night, Baba Yaga's like, can't complain. So the third night, she does all the work. She has even more chores. She has even more shit to do, and Baba Yaga comes back, and she's like, what the actual fuck? How'd you get it all done? And Vasilisa's like, I guess with the blessing of my dead mother. At which point Baba Yaga flips her actual shit because somebody who has been blessed has been in her home for 3 days. And she's like, take your fire and get the fuck out of here. And Vasilisa's like, okay. And so she goes back with her fire, where her stepmother and stepsisters are actually happy to see her for once, because no flame has been willing to take in that house since Vasilisa left. No flame would light the candles. No flame would light the fires. No flame whatsoever would take in that house while Vasilisa was gone. And so she gets back, and her stepmother is all like Jane Fonda about it. And she's like, oh, I missed you. I was so worried. Oh, let me see. Like, let's see if we can light the fires. But Baba Yaga is still punitive as fuck. And because the stepmother and stepsisters were evil little bitches, the fire from the skull, it just intensifies until it burns them to ash. But Vasilisa's cool, and she actually becomes like a master fabric maker because of all that flax her evil stepmother used to make her spin. And she marries the Tsar. It's a happy ending. But the bottom line is, Baba Yaga made her do a fuck ton of chores. Just like Baba Yaga made the other 2 sisters do a fuck ton of chores. And just like Baba Yaga was going to punish the little boy that didn't listen to his mom, Baba Yaga was a huge tool in living your life right. Mm-hmm. So all of the tasks that Baba Yaga gives the young protagonists that come to her in all of the stories, they're very important tasks for Slavic life. And that is why Baba Yaga, even as the Wicked Witch, that's why she's still so important in Slavic culture, because the Soviet Union was like, great, we'll use her to make sure we make little great great little happy Soviets, you know. They'll know how to cook, they'll know how to clean, they'll know how to listen to their parents, they'll know how to listen to their government. Like Baba Yaga was a training tool. But she's so much more than that. She's an elemental goddess. She controls time. She controls night and day. Those writers are at her beck and call. She and Vasilisa have an entire conversation about it. But that's like the least interesting part of the story. So, you know, it was unnecessary. But I'm curious to know, like, what do you guys think about Baba Yaga? Did you have any preconceived notions about her? Do you have different thoughts about her now that you've listened to the different stories about her? Do you think that she was simply a folklore witch, or was she an elemental goddess whose name has been lost to the sands of time? I don't know, let us know on Twitter at Classiest Witches, and if you don't already, definitely like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube, and if you're listening on a podcast platform, like and subscribe there too. We definitely appreciate it. Hello, Melissa, and have a good night. Thanks for coming to Sit a Spell, everybody.